Hi guys, hope you all are doing well and enjoying the markets, right? Here is the disclaimer. Pause it, read every single word till the end, and we are a SEBI registered research analyst, right? So, what did we share the last time, right? It's very interesting because we spoke about a couple of possibilities, right? We said bullish about 26,308, and that we could also be doing A, B, a fake breakout, and then a C down, right? So, that's exactly what the markets did, right? The last analysis we did was on Friday, and this is, what we had analyzed, right? Which is this as an ABC, and if and only the markets had to sustain, this is future. But if you look at Nifty spot, that's precisely what it did, right? So it gave a fake breakout, and this is precisely what we had discussed on Friday, saying if it gaps up, I would be careful, and it did gap up and could not sustain, and then we saw this sharp selling, right? The question here is this still an ABC, right? If it was an ABC, we would have not had such a deep retracement, right? So things are not looking as good as I personally anticipated, right? Um, the good thing is this is now at the golden fib, right? While C did retrace deeper than what we anticipated. Look at where it has got the support, right? So this is very very interesting area that we are at, right? But let's take a step back now and relook at the entire possibility, right? On daily, the price has turned bearish, right? This is something which is kind of bothering, because as on yesterday, if you look at the Monday candle, of course we didn't analyze on Monday. Today, I had no plans originally, but then I thought it was important for me to come online, sitting on the car and recording this. um, you know, as on yesterday, this was not a bearish candle because the close was above the previous candle's low, right? So while the candle on its own looks bearish, I was still not bearish because the closing was pretty strong, and I was expecting personally getting a support and reversing back from in here, but that did not happen, right? We gapped up, we got that bounce up, and then a follow through selling. Let me add volume to it to see how is that looking at. If there's any strength, there you go. Here is the volume divergence that we had, and a small marginal, upward move is what we've seen, right? So that's interesting. And if I add RSI to it, this is getting even more interesting because there is a divergence building up in RSI on a longer time frame, right? um, there you go. You see this, is the divergence on a daily time frame, which is really not looking good at all, right? So this is the divergence that I was talking about. So price has turned bearish. Options data I haven't logged in, but let me quickly log in here. Should not take a long time. um, Unfortunately I was not logged in. Wow, okay, there you go. Let me log in quickly, get the code. Bear with me for a second. I also need the code for it. So I'm getting it from the mobile phone 370595. So looking at the options data, clearly, price is bearish on daily. Change in OI is also bearish, right? Today was the expiry. So yeah, I mean, no point looking at today's change in OI, but just running it through, we had supported 26,000, and 26,050 was the resistance. And of course, this was at close. A lot of things would have changed during the day. For next week, look at this, right? Change in OI, 26,000 is a resistance, and 26,100 and 26,200, right? So price is bearish. Change in OI is also bearish. if I look at the overall open interest, 26,000 is acting as a support, right? So we may get a bounce in and at around in that area where the markets have closed, right? Now, looking at Elliott wave, this is, where things are getting even more interesting, because if you're following us on the long term, right, this is the possibility that we had. We said this could either be wave 5, which is this evolving in here, and or we spoke about this as either wave 4 or wave B, right? This is the possibility that we looked at. Looking at the diagonal in here and the divergence, because we were expecting a parallel channel, right? This looks like 5 is complete in here, right? Why? Because price is bearish, options data is bearish, and then on top there is an RSI divergence. So the possibility of Nifty doing a short term top is complete, right? And if that's the case, the good days are over and the tough days are coming ahead, right? That's how it is looking at. Let me also quickly look at Bank Nifty. We'll get to the Nifty's lower time frame. Bank Nifty is no different either, right? We said this could be a WXY, that's the last marking. But this looks like the last wave 5 is definitely over in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. Of course, it's not a clear diagonal, it looks more an expanding diagonal. So it will be interesting to see how price evolves from here, right? But this divergence is not helping. Price has turned bearish and has validated the divergence, right? So we may be heading towards a long term correction, right? Nifty basically kissed the all time high, it went up, and now it is getting that rejection. So the possibility of this being a fake breakout, remember we've spoken about it and or touched on it several times to be careful, right? um, as on today, right, as on yesterday I was not bearish, but as on today I am bearish, rather slash looking for a correction, right? So if I look at a 45-minute time frame, this is going to be a very very important area for me, right? So if we look at the wave 5, this is a possibility that we had it open and have labeled it several times, right? Looking at this as an ABC, right, and then this as an ABC, this again as an ABC, and then this again as an ABC. Remember the triangle that we drew a couple of weeks back, and then this somehow was looking as an impulsive wave. So what will validate this is today's low, right? So all of this is looking like a correction to what we touched on earlier. This is going to be a deciding level, which because it has either got supported the golden fib or it is breaking down tomorrow, right? Because if I look at this bounce from in here, this can be a zigzag because this is clearly a 5 wave, a bounce up and then another 5 wave with a small possible divergence, right? Now, irrespective of if I label this as an ABC and or an impulsive wave, 1 2 1 2, we're talking about a bounce in here, right? So this is another channel that I would definitely be keeping an eye on to see if we're going to get complete, because if this is an impulsive wave, then this has to be 1 2 1 2 and then 1 2, which makes it a complete leading diagonal, right? And then 26,032 is going to be very very important for me to now define if the market is going to turn bullish or bearish, right? So taking a step back, price is bearish, options data is bearish, the divergences are indicating clearly a correction. Nifty corrected 0.55%, which is not significant, right? And the future, let's look at the future chart, because future has always had a different technicals when compared to spot. So if I look at the uh, future chart in here, look at that, right? While Nifty went below 60%, future has only retraced up to 50%, right? So 26,192 is going to be very, very important, right? So tomorrow a bounce up is what I'm expecting. And these are the levels that will be, make or break for me, right? So if in Nifty we're talking about 26,032, if it breaks that, that would confirm. And tomorrow's bounce here will define if this is an impulsive wave or a corrective wave. If it's corrective evolving, then we know this is 1212 is what we're bouncing up. But if we see an impulsive wave tomorrow, then this is a support at the golden fib, and boom, we're going up, right? So guys, that is all I had. I thought it was important for me to come online today and share the view, because things are getting really, really tricky, right? So yeah, have a great rest of the evening, guys. Bye now.